What is going on, guys? I completely forgot to put it in the video, but we're on the way to London Comic Con right now, so if any of you guys are there, then feel free to walk up to me. I am in this t-shirt, and I am tall as hell, so you probably would see me. And I'm actually editing this video you're watching right now, so yeah, it's 2 AM and we're about to set off. Nabil, do you want to say hi? Actually, you might be off screen a little bit, but... Oh my god, your head's there.
Hello.
Yeah, that's Nabil. He's driving us. But yeah, anyway, there's 3 of us going. There's me, Nabil and Jack, so I'll probably be in a group, something like that, if you see me there, if any of you guys are going. So yeah, just look out for me, and if you want to come over and say hi, then do so. It will be awesome to see you guys if any of you are there. And yeah, back to the video. Yeah. What is going on, guys? Welcome to this video. My name is Cameron, and today we are reviewing the highly anticipated Civil War II issue 4, and it's going to kick off in this issue. We've got a bunch of craziness going on. We've got probably the point of where Civil War II actually kicks off between Iron Man and Captain Marvel, and we've got the superheroes on Iron Man's side, we've got the superheroes on Captain Marvel's side, and all hell is going to break loose in the next issue, and I'm so looking forward to it. Now, the previous issue was actually the one that was probably the craziest out of the entire series so far, so it's going to be interesting to see whether it gets even crazier and what's to come now that Bruce Banner has been shot by Hawkeye. So yeah, rest in peace, Bruce Banner. There is also issue 5 of this series, or it's issue 6, and it actually has Miles and Captain America fighting on the front cover. I just want to tell you guys, don't go off the front covers of comics like I've always said it, because it's not always what it seems. A good example of this was Miles Morales The Ultimate Spider-Man issue 4, I think, and on the cover it had Peter Parker Ultimate Spider-Man and Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man fighting each other, when in the comic they actually teamed up. So, you know, just a little bit of a heads up, I suppose. Anyway, it's time to review this awesome issue, guys, so let's do it. Hold on a minute, guys. I completely forgot to say that I'm going to be doing a giveaway for this issue, so if you want to win this, then put a comment in the comments below. Let me know what your favourite part about the issue was, and I'll pick a winner in the next issue. Not to mention, I will also be doing a digital giveaway for this as well, so yeah, I'll be picking 2 winners technically. One for the physical comic, which is this, and the other for the digital code to have it on your computer, so go for it. So the issue opens up and we jump straight into the issue with Captain Marvel coming back from the court case with Hulk and all that crazy stuff, and we discover that She-Hulk has finally woken up. Now, in case any of you guys didn't know this, the Hulk, aka Bruce Banner, is actually She-Hulk's cousin. And it's now time for Captain Marvel to reveal the news that he's dead. And not only was he murdered by a fellow Avenger, he was kind of murdered by Captain Marvel's hands because of the action she took to stop him messing with the future and stuff like that. So I'm hoping, absolutely hoping, that She-Hulk hates Captain Marvel for this. Like, this turns her against her. Because if you think about it, She-Hulk was actually on Captain Marvel's team in the first issue, and you can honestly just tell by looking at how angry She-Hulk is. It looks like she wants to either rip Hawkeye or Captain Marvel in half, and I so hope that happens. Now, we also discover the verdict of Hawkeye's court case, and it actually turns out that he was released, and honestly, I'm actually agreeing with this decision, mainly because it was Bruce Banner who told Hawkeye to actually kill him if he does Hulk out again. And so it wasn't like Hawkeye did it out of cold blood or anything, he did it because his friend asked him to. Moving on throughout the issue, I honestly think this page on screen is one of the most awesome pages in the entire issue, because it really gives you a feel of what it's like to be Spider-Man sitting on the side of a building looking down at everybody. Like, it really gives you that sense of vertigo when looking down a building and just seeing and getting the sense of how high Miles actually is off the ground. I mean, it's crazy, and it genuinely makes you feel like Spider-Man. Now, as we get further into the comic, we also get Tony Stark talking about how he's realised what kind of power Ulysses has and how it works and all this awesome stuff, and we actually saw that at the end of the previous issue, but we never actually saw it explained or anything like that, and that is where this happens, and it's actually a really interesting scenario. And as it turns out, we discover that Ulysses actually takes in the energy from the entire world and then makes a prediction of what's going to happen next. So if you think about it, it's like a vending machine. You put money in, you get something back, and that is pretty much what is happening with Ulysses. He's taking the energy in, and then he's spitting out whatever future he thinks is going to happen. Now, this is taking in energies from all over the world, and of course it's not entirely accurate, but it is a very, 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 very precise future, but it's not 100%, and that is where Tony Stark draws the line, because He says a future, but the future isn't set, so that's impossible. And it also means that Ulysses' emotions and all that crazy stuff sort of determine what's going to come out of his visions and what's true and what's not true, etc. And I just love how determined Tony Stark is to get this point across, and it's even greater when you realise that it's Captain America and the rest of the Inhumans that Tony Stark is actually talking to, and because of that, obviously Captain America and Tony Stark used to fight in the original Civil War event, so to see them actually team up in this event is awesome. It's like finally saying that they see eye to eye, like they understand each other, and it's incredible. Not to mention the art style is absolutely on point, like you actually see the emotions of these characters pour through the pages to us as the reader, and you can genuinely see the emotion in Carol Danvers' face as she's looking at Tony Stark as he's telling her all this stuff, and it really brings the comic to life and makes you feel like you're actually watching a movie. I also didn't mention this when it was happening, but I loved it how they were showing, like, you know, the futures that went wrong, you know, the part with the empty briefcase and everything like that, suggesting that Ulysses' future visions don't always come through, they're not 100% accurate, and you can just see that Captain Marvel's method of going about things, like seeing the future and messing with it, it has flaws, and the reason for those flaws is of course because it's not accurate, etc., but it leads to worse situations, such as this random person who was visioned as causing the world chaos and having something to do with being a Hydra agent and all this crazy stuff, when in reality she's just a normal US citizen. Like, she hasn't done anything wrong. It's literally just like someone grabbing you and interrogating you and locking you up in a room, saying that you're something that you're not, and it is mental. So you can completely understand where Tony Stark is coming from when talking about all these things, but you can also understand where Captain Marvel is coming from, because she would rather take the risk of interfering than letting someone destroy the world. So you understand from both sides, and it's actually really cool. Now, coming up to the final few pages of this crazy issue, we're about to get to the best bit, and you can see that Tony Stark has already interfered enough by freeing that US citizen and standing up for what's right by standing in the way of Captain Marvel's endeavours. And what you've got to think about is this is kind of a serious situation, not because Tony Stark has interfered, but because this woman could still be a potential terrorist or anything along those lines, and Tony Stark just freed her. And I absolutely love it how Carol Danvers walks outside and all of the superheroes are stood in a line saying, "We told you, we all told you." And I freaking love that, because not only does it mean Tony Stark is against her, but it means the rest of them are against her as well. It means that they all share the same opinion. And Carol Danvers just stands there as Captain America the Super Soldier and Tony Stark the genius Iron Man, with a bunch of other superheroes, Luke Cage, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, the Inhumans, and plenty more standing ready to fight her. And this is where Civil War really kicks off, and it really gets the hype going. It really puts you in the mood of wanting to see the next issue, and that's when you know it's a good comic, because you really badly want to see the next issue right now. This is probably one of my favourite comics of all time right now. So the issue's just ended and it was phenomenal. Honestly, one of my favourite issues so far in the entire series, and I don't know what it is, it's just, you can really feel the anger kind of coming to fruition between the two characters. And honestly, I think Tony Stark is right, and obviously I think, like, oh god, it's so confusing. I think it's awesome how Tony Stark and Captain America are actually on the same team on this one. I mean, in the previous Civil War they were against each other and they were at odds. This time they're actually working together, understanding each other. It should honestly be so good, and who knows, we might have other superhero deaths in the future of the issues. Maybe, honestly, wait, I'll get this out of the way now. I think I already said it in the previous issue, but the only way I can see this being resolved is if Ulysses, the Inhuman who can see the future, gets killed. Like, maybe it's not a possible future anymore in the future of these issues. Maybe it becomes something worse, and honestly, I'm confusing myself, but it makes sense, but it doesn't. Like, hopefully some of you guys understand what I'm talking about, but yeah. You can definitely see, though, that this is taking control over Captain Marvel's morals as a human being and a superhero. Like, she's actually taking regular citizens into custody just because this kid saw a possible future of this person putting the world into chaos with Hydra and all this awesome stuff. So the system Captain Marvel is using is flawed. So, like, she doesn't actually have any solid evidence that any of these people that she's arresting are actually criminals. They're just kind of like going off someone's word, if you get what I mean. So yeah, it's really interesting. I especially love the part where we actually figure out how Ulysses sees the future. Pretty much the algorithm that Ulysses uses, scaled down, is pretty much something along the lines of, if you went outside and got struck by lightning 9 out of 10 times every time you stepped out your door, then you are obviously going to predict that you're going to get struck by lightning again if you walk outside again. But it's not 100%, there might be that one-off time where you don't, and that is what Tony Stark is saying. So that is where Tony Stark and Captain Marvel clash into each other, and it can only get better from there. But that is it for this video, guys. That is it for this review. What did you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Of course, don't forget about the giveaway that's going on with this issue. I will choose a winner in the review for the next issue. And don't forget, you can support this channel by becoming a patron. You can get early comics, you can get early videos, you can get free comics, you can get behind the scenes, whatever you want. And don't forget, guys, I am going to London Comic Con tonight, so you will be getting behind the scenes pictures and stuff like that of what the journey's like to London Comic Con and what it's going to be like when I'm there. And I will be taking my camera with me. And of course, if any of you guys are at London Comic Con whilst I'm there, feel free to walk up. I honestly have no idea what t-shirt I'm going to be wearing, so I can't tell you, but just look for my face, I guess. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.